What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Albion Online video. In this video, I want to share with you the best Albion Online resource you can find outside of the game. This website right here, AlbionOnline2D, is probably the best website you can find when it comes down to Albion Online. There's a lot of resources out there and a lot of websites that try doing kind of the same thing as this one, but this has been probably the best and the most popular Albion Online website. If we actually click here, I have a kind of a Google Chrome extension. This website gets over 1.8 million estimated monthly views, so it's a very popular website. A lot of people use this. It's pretty much a well-known website on the Albion community, and I want to share with you how this website works and all the ins and outs you need to know. So hopefully you can start using this anytime you're trying to do something like crafting or gathering, or if you want to know something about the game, you can actually come to this website and it should be helpful and give you the information that you're looking for. So the website is AlbionOnline2D.com. I'll have a link in the description if you want to check it out that way. And when you first enter the website, there's going to be a couple things that are going to be introduced. The first thing is you can actually look at some Albion Online Twitch, Twitch channels. So if you want to look at whoever's streaming, he has this little extension here where you can click on it and start viewing some of the past streams. There's also a dev tracker, but right now it's not loading for me. It basically tracks everything that the devs are saying, tweets, anything. He just grabs all the information and tries putting it in this sidebar as well here. This becomes a very interesting. Albion Online 2D actually tracks the top killers of every week. So for example, for this week, the top killer is I'm Your Daddy and has 130 kills, as well as top victims. If you die a lot, currently G-Rock has 48 deaths in this past week. That's actually a lot of deaths. So you can actually check who's the top killer of the week, also who has died the most in this week. Here you can look up all the upcoming GVG matches if you are interested in looking at them. So we got Rise of Abyss versus Blue Army in Cairn Darkhurst, and you can just look at them. You can look at the UTC date and the time. And if you're like interested in the GVG kind of activity of the game, you can actually come here and it has a full list of all the upcoming GVGs in the game. If you scroll down, this is also a very kind of like important and kind of cool thing about Albion Online 2D. It tracks how many players are in PvP action by day. So for example, if we look here for 525, there was actually 13,000 people who were out there and being in some kind of PvP activity. So it kind of tracks how much of the activity there currently is for all the PvP, as well as last 24 hours. So for example, if you're out there and you want to go gathering, you can actually come to the Albion Online 2D website, check if there's currently a high populated PvP action kind of thing. Then you can just check, for example, if I kind of did this at 10 UTC, there's not a lot of PvP action going on, but if I did something at 15 UTC, there's a lot more players doing PvP action. So you can actually check if there's a lot of people doing PvP action. So if you're trying to think if you're going to go gathering or something, you might not want to do it if there's a lot of PvP action in the game. As well as the full 7 days by hour. So for example, the 519, there was actually 5,682 players active in I think this was reset day, if I'm not correct. There's a lot of people doing PvP. I might be wrong, but I think this was reset day when all the people were out there and trying to get all of their territories and stuff like that. So that's it. It's pretty cool if you want to look at all that information. So let's go up here into one of the things I like. The most important one, I think, the little like tabs, kind of the windows you can click on this website, is the meta as well as the tools. So let's go with the meta. Meta here actually, and I actually gathered a lot of information when I'm doing kind of like builds. It shows you the top most popular builds for that specific activity. So the top most popular gear builds for a mass PvP, so kind of like a Zerg. You can actually check all of the builds, what most people carry. There's a score here, you can tell by the score. So this build right now has a 407 score. The higher the score, that's kind of what people use most often. So we got something like mass gear PvP, such as Zergs. You got top 10 most popular 10v10. So if you're doing like a small kind of Zerg, a 10v10, these are the builds that are mostly used. For example, the most popular build currently for both the mass PvP as well as the 10v10 is the Fallen Staff with the Mercenary Hood, the Cleric Robe, and the Scholar Sandals. for both of these. You can also look at small PvP 5v5s. So usually there's going to be a lot of gankers in 5v5s. So Elder Claws, of course, with the Mage Cowl, and then Assassin Jacket or Mercenary Jacket. If you want to have the invisibility, you go with the Assassin, and if you want to have the Rage, you go with the Mercenary. As well as the 2v2s, it's going to be Elder Claws. These are all for PvP, and then for the solo, again, it's going to be those Claws, because of the claw ganking. You can actually look at all of the current most popular builds, and you can actually come here and kind of create your own builds. So for example, I was going to do the Great Holy Staff video, and I had the build in mind already, so I came here and I want to check if the build was actually in the high ranks, and clear enough, it was right here. The build, this is basically the same build that I showed in that video, and that just kind of gave me an idea that, yeah, a lot of people are kind of using this build. So we got the database. This is basically mainly for new players. If you want to know items, mobs, buildings, islands, whatever. So for example, if we click items, it's going to give me a full list of cool items. Over here, it's kind of the same loadout that the store, the market has. So for example, if we want to look at, let's say we want to look at melee weapons and the axe. If you click here, it's going to give me a full list of all the axe, battle axes and such. And it also shows you the price, or the current price, for the city. So let's check something like let's go for a tier 5 expert, yeah, just a flat tier 5 battle axe. So right here, when you click on it, it's going to show you what is dropped by. So you can see all of the all the mobs out there that drop that item, the chance rates, and how many you have to kill per drop. So for example, we got the Vicious Overlord, and it shows you how much fame it has, or it gives you the max HP, how much silver, and then it has a 9% chance that's going to drop a battle axe. Also, you can see the crafting requirements. So if you are a crafter, you can see how much it takes. So you need some planks and some titanium steel. And then some spells, you can look at these spells, and if you're trying to come up with a build, you can actually look at all the spells for that weapon. One thing about the details, you can actually see the market prices. I'm going to talk about how market prices work in Albion Online in a little bit. I have to kind of make a special section in this video about it, because I want to talk about how all of these prices get registered, because sometimes these prices aren't correct. There's not like a certain way to get the current price from the game as we speak, but that might be changing pretty soon. So again, you can check the database for items, mobs, buildings, laborers, islands, expeditions, and all this. Then this is my second favorite page on this entire website, and that is the tools. This is a very, very important kind of page. A lot of people use this for some of their activities. So we got the Destiny calculator. This kind of just goes over all of the Destiny board, and if you want to kind of train that up or kind of look at a calculator, you can actually come here and check out all of the Trainee Fighter. And if I go into the Journeyman Warrior, it shows here all of the stats you need to know about the calculator for the Destiny board. Then we got the craft calculator. Let's say you want to begin crafting a specific item. All you do is you click on the add item, and then let's say we want to do a melee. Let's go with the axe again. Let's say you want to start crafting some tier 5. You can check the tiers up here. So let's do tier 7 Grandmaster Battle Axe. You click on it, and it's going to show you how much of the required resources you need. So I need 8 planks and 16 steel bars of tier 7. And what you can do is you can click on whatever city you're going to craft it in, and you can actually pull the market prices. So if I click on this, you can see that all of this kind of like gets added here. This is the cost for all of the resources. So for 8 of these planks, it's going to cost me about 10,000 silver currently in Caerleon, and it gives me all the cost here, the total cost, and how much fame I'm going to get. But you can come here, and if you have a usage fee on your whatever, if you're using it like outside the city or inside the city, wherever you're crafting it, if it has a usage fee or a tax, quote unquote. So for example, I have a 9% fee for using whatever crafting table or crafting bench I can find out in the city. Then it's going to also cost me an extra additional 1,000 silver. So this is the total of me having to craft everything. So here's the cost for all the planks, and here's the cost for all the steel bars. This is how much it's going to cost for me to craft it with the fee. And then with this, I can check out if in the Caerleon. So let's actually click on the battle axe here. It's currently selling in Caerleon for Caerleon 189,000. So I'm not going to make profit if I craft this. So I'm going to waste 252,000, but it's selling for 189. It's actually selling in the black market for for 50. So I could actually make double my money if I craft the tier 7 battle axe and sell in the black market. Again, this isn't necessarily a kind of like an actual estimate of how the prices are in the game. There are some things that might change. So I might want to craft this in Carleon and then maybe transport it to Morlock, where it's selling at 287,000 and such forward. So this is a pretty cool tab here for the craft calculator. Now we got the farming calculator. If you're a farmer, you can look here at the water percentage, the price, the product, the profit per cost. If you are using some focus. This is profit per focus, sorry. So if you're using some focused, you can come here, check the profit per focused, how much silver it's going to generate for you if you use some focus points on, doing the farm cropping, whatever. So I'm not a farmer, but if you're a farmer, you can look here. This is probably the other best one. It's called a refining. You can actually check a specific resource refining. So let's do ore. This is what I did in my last video, and I shared with you how I kind of was able to come up with a plan on which item I should refine to get the most amount of silver out of my focus points. So let's say we want to craft 100 of, let's say, for example, first of all, let's change our tax to 9 and our turn rate to 44. And here you can change the masteries if you're a specific mastery level for each crafting resource. So if I'm level 50 for tier 4, I'll put 50 here, level 50. Let's say I'm level 55 on this, I'm level 60 on this, or something like that. And let's say I want to craft 100. And you can actually pull the prices here again with Carleon or the other cities. So let's pull the prices. And for example, it's going to show me how much money I'm going to make or how much silver I'm going to make per focus points. So if we click on this, I'm going to make the most amount of silver per focus if I craft something like 6.1 iron ingots or steel bars. So let's change this back to 15. And as you can see, it's not profitable unless I do just regular tin ore. It's not profitable for me to refine everything if I'm not using focus points. I'm going to be losing some silver. It really depends on the market prices, but I'm going to be losing some silver if I do something like refining. So that's another important tab. I suggest doing that. Then we have the dev tracker here. It's the same thing as the main page. It kind of tracks all the information. I might get a problem here. There might be a problem with the dev tracker. Then we got the Discord kill bot. If you have a Discord, I have a Discord. If you are joining my Albion Online Discord server, there will be a link in the description. But this bot basically, you can read everything it does here. It just notifies your channel if a specific tracked player dies or gets killed, and it kind of reports to the Discord, whatever channel it's in. Just reports what happened, who died, how much kill, how much fame, how much IP, blah blah blah. And it's a cool bot to have if you're running a Discord server. Then we got the guides. If you're kind of new to the game, you can come here, read all the guides. For example, if I do the food buffs table, it introduces every single food and all the buffs in the game, as well as all these guides: fish buffs table, potion buffs table, mount speed table. So if you want to check how fast a mount is, I'll come here and see that currently, I think, yeah, the Rage Claw is probably the fastest mount. Then the Black Panther and the Spectral Bat and such forth. So all of these mounts are here. You can check that out. And you can continue down to all of these cool guides. Then we got the scoreboard, and this is kind of like the same thing we kind of had at the beginning of the the main page. So if you click players, we have the scoreboard of all of the players. So we got the top killers, top victims, as well as recent kills. So if you want to look at what's happening currently in the game, who's dying, what's happening, you can actually click here. And I think if you click the UTC, yeah, it kind of shows you what happened, who killed what, how much fame they got, what they were carrying. So for example, the last kill that was registered was by Comunista this kill right here. And if you click on this UTC, it's going to bring you to this event that just happened. The killer item power was 1,155. How much fame they got. The victim item power was lower, and you can see the builds. This is pretty cool if you're trying to also look at what's currently happening, who's currently running what builds. As you can see, these guys have a pretty similar build. We got the Graveguard helmet as well as the Cleric robe. These guys are wearing kind of the same thing, except this guy's going with the Blood Litter and Mist Color build, and this guy has a Druidic staff and a Mist Color. So you can look at cool stuff like this, as well as here. There's also the guild information here, the guild feud information here as well. So you can come here and look at all of this. If you scroll down, you can see the top 20 kill fame. So like the last week, for example, the Evil One had, I think that's what? 20 million kill fame last week, which is actually pretty insane. And the second closest was Welch Merch, whatever his name was. It's about 1 million kill fame. Actually 14 million kill fame, if I'm correctly. Yeah, 14 million kill fame. So that's a lot. A lot of people actually have insane amounts of fames per week. So you can check about the top kill fame, the top kill fame by guild last week. This is all from last week, and then by player right here as well. This is the PvE and this is the PvP. So on the PvE, we got Mati with how much is that? Is that 10 million? Yeah, around 10 million fame for PvE, sorry. As well as the guild PvE, the gathering fame. So this guy right here actually gathered a whole lot, and the guild gathering fame. So it's pretty cool. If you check the map, this is also very cool for any kind of gatherers. You can actually check where the nodes spawn. So if you're a gatherer and you're trying to go into a specific area, you can check where things spawn. So let's say I'm in Carleon and I want to go mine some ore, and I'm going to head into Malag. I'm going to do Craigmore. Let's do Craigmore. I can click Craigmore. It shows me the chances of 0.1, 0.2, and 0.3 tiers. So for 4.1, there's around a 5% chance. 4.2 is about 0.5% chance, and 0.3 is a 0.5% or 0.05% chance. Then you can click here, and this is the whole entire map of whatever you chose. I chose Craigmore, and you can kind of toggle off some of the things. So let's say I'm only going to mine ore, I can toggle everything off, and this is going to show me exactly what are the spawn points for most nodes. Some of these spawn points do change throughout the game. They kind of move here and there, but in general, these are where all of the kind of node spawn. You can also check the resources, the low, the high. So this is a low node, and stuff like 6. You know, I think for Craigmore, the top one is 6. So 6 Runite ore tier 6 spawn around this area, which is close to the guild territory. And here you can check off everything that can spawn, and you can like the roaming mobs as well as the mob camps. So it's pretty cool if you are a gatherer. Very important. All right, that pretty much concludes our walkthrough to the whole entire website. Now I want to talk about the prices. This is actually very important. A lot of people don't know this, and I see a bunch of questions being asked on Reddit. Let's go ahead and click on let's go with the corn seeds. As you can see, it shows me a bunch of prices right here, but if I go in the game, these prices might not be correctly they're not correlated. The reason being, Albion Online doesn't have a public API. An API is just a way that programmers can communicate with other programmers' code, such as, for example, there's a YouTube API. So if someone wants to code like a cool YouTube website like SocialBait, they need information from YouTube. So YouTube provides them with a public API where they can start pulling information from YouTube and start making cool websites. Albion Online does not have that. They haven't released a public API. Albion Online, or especially AlbionOnline2D, the only way to obtain this information is by the Albion Online data project. I talked about the Albion Online data project in some of my videos, but basically how this works is you download a client. You can actually come here and I forgot where you download it. Somewhere in here. Here, click here to download the client. What's going to happen is when you have this client open, anytime you go into a marketplace, such as the Carleon, whatever, it's going to register some of the prices that you search for into the client, and the client's going to talk into a server, and the server is going to communicate with AlbionOnline2D, as well as many other Albion Online kind of websites or whatever. Whoever wants to use the Albion Online data project, they can come here if they want a developer. Right here, all the information if you want to kind of use the Albion Online data. So again, it's not necessarily the prices that are currently in the game, it's the price that was last registered by someone that was using the client. So when someone was using the client, the last price in Bridgewatch for corn seeds was 7,000. So that's the last time it was registered when someone searched corn seeds with the Albion Online client, and it got registered into the server, and this is what we're gonna see here. So for example, if it's been a long time, let's say it's been like 2 days since no one has used the Albion Online client and no one has registered corn seeds, then this price might not be accurate to the current price of the items. So that's something you need to know. Something you also need to know about the if you're doing something like the refining calculator or the crafting calculator, some of those items, some of those prices that you pull, you might want to kind of go out of your way and, you know, kind of put the prices yourself. So if we want to try, let's just do something quickly. If we want to try to craft, let's do a dagger, whatever. If we pull the market prices right here from Albion, these prices might not be accurate, again, because we never know. It's letting me do it. Let's reload this calculator. I don't know why it's not letting me do it. It's a pretty long video, so I'm sorry about it, guys, but it's a very important video for all of you guys who are trying to get into Albion Online. It's a very important website. So let's pull the prices. Yeah, the prices were here. So this were the prices currently for some cured leather right here, but they might change. So maybe they changed down to 1,800, and I gotta change it out here. So yeah, that concludes pretty much everything we would talk about the best resource outside of the actual game, which is AlbionOnline2D. It's very important that you guys know how to use this website. A lot of information is being thrown here, and you need to start looking at it. The developer is working very hard. As you can see, it has an estimated visit of 1.8 million. Very, very kind of popular website. There's nothing's going to happen when you click here, no viruses, whatever. The average time on the site is 5 minutes, which is actually very, very, very impressive, as well as the page views and the bounce rates. Very impressive stats for this website. So it's a very good website if you guys are into Albion Online and if you want to kind of maximize all of your knowledge and kind of be easier if you're a crafter, gatherer, or even a PvP, or if you want to look at something like builds, like the meta right here. All this information is on this website, so I highly recommend for you guys to go check it out. There will be a link in the description for you guys to do that. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a pretty long video, but hopefully you guys stuck to it. Hopefully you guys are going to be using this website. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys later on my next video. Peace.